Hey Churchville, it's time for one of my favorite drawing units. We're going to be creating Mario landscapes. So I'm going to walk you through how we're going to do this and the introduction to this. So our Mario landscapes are here. Now look very carefully at all of these pictures and think in your head, what do these all have in common? Take a minute and just look. They're different pictures, they're different subjects. Some are just shapes. But each time you look at things, you can see one item in front of another. Look at how these hands are all overlapping and one thing's in front of another. The solar system planets are pictured so one planet is in front of another. This hot air balloon in the front that is red is in front of the hot air balloon that is white. These zebras, one has his neck over another. And in Maurice Sendak, where the wild things are, you can see his wild things standing in front of a tree, which is in front of the moon, which is in front of everything in the sky. This is a drawing technique that artists use called overlapping, when one thing lies over another and it partly covers something else. It's one of the easiest ways that artists can create what's called depth in their artwork. And when you have depth, it makes it look like a real space. And that's our goal with our Mario landscapes. If you just had items sitting next to each other, like these circles, they don't have any depth. They look kind of flat. But if you start putting one item in front of another, you can see layers start to form because we are overlapping. When you overlap with these layers, all of a sudden now, look at how that black circle looks like it goes further back in space. And some of those smaller circles that have nothing in front of them feel like they're a little closer to us. That's overlapping. Now, when Mario first came out, the technology was not that great. In the beginning, things were flat. Nothing was behind anything else. It was a very boring environment. It lacked detail, it lacked realism, and it lacked overlapping. Then technology starts changing. It becomes more advanced, and the artists use those advanced technologies to make realistic landscapes. Look at how in Super Mario Brothers 3, which is my favorite one, we see these blocks behind other blocks, and you can even start to see shadows, and items are in front of one another. In Mario 64, it looked like a real space because not only did you have overlapping, but you had things that were smaller in the background, like this tree, got smaller as they got further away. So the artists used the tools that were available to them. There's even more advanced overlapping now. If you look at the new Super Mario on the Wii or Mario Galaxy, even, it's full of layers. And look at all the overlapping. The artists in these make full scenes that have things behind other things. You can see this giant porcupine fish is in front of all these coral reefs. The coral reefs is behind other rocks, and the rocks are behind other fish. And the layers just keep going, which make you feel like you can actually take a walk into this space like it is for real. It would keep going. Even the world of Yoshi has changed. So in Super Mario World, things were a little flatter. We had a little bit of overlapping. In 64, you can see more elements being added to the background, things behind other things. And then in the most recent Woolly World, it looks like a real space, even if it's made out of string. You have items that are in the front, you have items that are in the middle, and you have items that are in the back. Doing that creates a realistic space. The more layers of overlapping you have in a picture, the more depth is created. And one of the reasons I like to do Mario landscapes is for the simple shapes. Look at how all they did here was create some rectangles and squares, and they overlap them to create depth. Here we have hills behind hills, elements behind elements, round shapes over top of the things. And this is what you're going to be doing to create your very own landscapes inspired by the world of Super Mario.